I've done a lot of things in my career, but as a lifespan developmental researcher, I've become convinced over time that working on employment is a really good way to help better the lives of autistic individuals. So why this project? As you probably know, statistics about how many people with autism become employed are really pretty dim. Here you have EDD data that shows that about 13% of all the individuals with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities served in our state have a rate of about 13% employment, versus people with any disability or typically developing individuals. And if you look at the California rates for supported employment and other types of employment, it's also pretty dismal picture. Most of the people in that large blue section of the pie are not really working in jobs that pay. They're working in internships, or they're working in courses, or they're working in things that just don't really lead to paid employment. Only a small orange piece of the pie are people that are working in what's called supported employment. And why is this important? Well, we all know that there are a lot of human benefits of employment. The 3 Ps are often discussed. Employment provides a sense of purpose, a place to go, people to interact with, and 75% of individuals with autism and developmental disabilities want to be employed. It builds self-esteem to work and confidence, independence, life satisfaction, and it enhances cognitive abilities. And improves mental health and prevents anxiety and depression that can often become common problems in our adults. And then, very brass tacks, it prevents poverty and all of poverty's negative consequences. People with autism and developmental disabilities can be really amazing employees. So this is a chart from a paper of 2022 where people who were autistic reported on the kinds of strengths they believed that they had in the workplace. In the inner ring, the black is cognitive advantages, things like superior memory, pattern recognition, logical thinking. 2 is efficiency, so coming up with effective solutions and being able to work independently. 3 is strengths related to their personal qualities, a strong sense of social justice, honesty and trustworthiness, and reduced social pressure to interact with peers, perhaps, and dedication. And 4, a unique autism-specific perspective. Sometimes they have a benefit of extra knowledge because they have intense circumscribed interests, and they have ability to draw on their personal experiences. Profit and productivity. This consulting firm called Accenture, working with some disability rights organizations, came up with something called the Disability Inclusion Leaders. So they surveyed a bunch of corporations, and so they named the ones with the best practices disability inclusion leaders. So that's the purple bars. And they showed that revenue, net income, economic profit, and productivity per person were higher in these inclusion leaders. And as Laura mentioned before, we need to talk about a couple of definitions here. So this wonderful piece of legislation, WIOA, or the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, set out competitive integrated employment as being a national priority for people who have developmental and other disabilities. So competitive integrated employment is work that's performed on a full-time or part-time basis with at least minimum wage compensation, or compensation that's comparable to other employees without disabilities with similar training and responsibilities. Same level of benefits, and where people work inclusively on the same teams as people without disabilities and have similar advancement opportunities. And here, supported employment, another definition, is an evidence-based, one-on-one approach that helps individuals with disabilities to get and keep jobs in the community, and includes personalized supports like job coaching, workplace accommodation, job development to customize the employment to really meet the needs of the person, and ongoing assistance tailored to the individual. And generally, the goal of supported employment is competitive integrated employment. So studies that we've seen suggest that this form of employment support, and here I'm talking about for adults, so this is past where Laura is speaking about. Our work focuses on people 21 and older, is in supported employment. So what we see here is Pat Howlett in the UK, and her group did an 8-year longitudinal study where they used supported employment and were able to get jobs at a rate of 67% for the individuals that were working with them. That is far in excess of the 15 to maybe 30% that you saw in that first graph. In Canada, a group achieved 62%. Another group here in Ireland produced 58%. Project Search here in the United States, which you may be somewhat familiar with, there's an adaptation that's available for autism. And working with really intensive job coaching, which isn't really typical of Project Search, they were able to get 73%. And a model called Individualized Placement and Support, or IPS, achieved 100%, but it was a very small trial, and it was in a hospital-based setting. But we decided that we wanted to test this IPS model in the community. So why do we choose it? It's a very widely disseminated and validated supported employment model in the severe mental illness world. There are an incredible number of randomized clinical trials that have shown that it is superior to common practice for supported employment, with 26 out of 28 of the trials showing higher competitive integrated employment rates and improvements to over 55% employment. IPS really promotes getting jobs quickly and without lengthy training. The kind of philosophy is if you can do some training, but that should be earlier by the time you're getting into supported employment and you've gotten out of continuation high school, we ought to be focusing on getting you into a career quickly. It's suitable for persons of all ages, which some of the models aren't. And it is very cost effective and can be used with individuals, along a spectrum of IQ, ranging from people that are extremely able to people who have intellectual disabilities. We probably do need to exclude people who are elopement risks, people that can't read at a certain level, but it's broader than a lot of the other models. And it also doesn't exclude people with mental health challenges, and addresses this critical step between internships and true competitive work. So that pie I showed you, all the people in the blue aren't really working, and those are the people that are served by our state. And so they're kind of locked in a cycle of going to a program where they're not really learning sufficient skills to get into the labor market, which is so important for a sense of purpose. The model is actually not really rocket science. There's 8 core principles. We don't exclude anybody in IPS. The focus is on competitive integrated employment. There's a lot of attention paid to the worker preference, so it's highly customized. If you want to be a pig farmer, we send out your job developer to look at pig farms. If you want to work in the movie industry, we look at a lot of things around, movies. So we do it rapidly. That's another real difference. Within 30 days, we want your job developer to be out there calling on different clients, organizations in the community, and developing leads for you and using your family to help with that. And then they have a systematic means of developing a job, and time unlimited supports, thanks to our DDS, here is available so that you can have coaching through your job. And IPS also has a lot of good teaching about how to effectively coach and fade yourself. And we also stress personalized benefits counseling, because one of the major reasons people don't pursue employment is they're worried about losing their entitlements. So benefits are required, benefits counseling, and integration with other services is preferred. An employment specialist does everything, because we see that a lot gets lost between the lip and the cup in some of these cases where you have one person doing an assessment, another person placing, coming up with leads, and a third person coaching you on the job, and it just gets to be not really efficient. We also try to have high quality supervision, so people only are allowed to supervise 10 employment specialists if they're a supervisor. And the supervisors work to teach people how to develop jobs in the community, because there's a way you have to do this. People are required to have smaller caseloads. We discovered that some of our providers were having to work with 50 people. So all they really had time to do is go on Indeed with the 50 people. And let's face it, my typically developing children don't do very well getting jobs on Indeed. It's really hard. It's not the best way to go. And another very important thing is there's fidelity reviews of the model at 6 and 12 months. And these are sessions where people go in and evaluate what you've been doing based on the principles of the model and shoot to help you, not to criticize you if you don't get right on the model fidelity right away, but to really help you to achieve it. So we were fortunate to get a DDS employment grant in the first study. We ended up working with 21 participants from 4 local Alta Regional Center supported employment agencies. We worked with people ages 20 to 52. They had a very wide range of IQs, from 60 to 132, males and females, and people pretty representative, too much, 62% whites, but a lot of diversity otherwise. And we found that we were able to retain all of our clients. We were able to retain 3 of our agencies. We made 11 placements for a success rate of 52%, also better than the 13 you saw. And people, 81% retained jobs. Some got them and then lost them and then got another one. And acceptable fidelity was achieved at both 6 and 12 months. If you look a little bit farther, we actually got another couple of placements and had a success rate of 62%. So based on that, we were able to get another grant from NIMH to look in individuals 21 to 40. And the first aim of that grant, we worked with a stakeholder panel and focus groups who reported there were a lot of strengths to the model, that it was very client-centered, there was rapid job search, community-based job development, which yielded good placements and a lot of opportunities and leads for their employment providers, continued client support, and IPS produced higher employment rates than what they were used to. But there were some challenges, mostly related to the system and existing agency structure. They felt our training was somewhat inadequate, and that we hadn't really informed leadership as well as we could have, and that we were really requiring them to go out and do a lot of job development, and that was hard for them. They weren't used to it because they were used to going on Indeed. And just based on our economics in the world right now, there was a lot of staff turnover, and so we really needed to make training more portable. So we adapted the model based on the feedback we received from the stakeholders and the focus groups, and we were helped in these efforts by Dr. Auburn Stamer and Cindy Jessel. And we improved job development, fidelity review preparation, onboarding training. We increased the support we offered them for documentation and helped them to maximize reimbursement, because after what we know, we're able to do that, and enhanced our agency screening in something we call the Consumer Support Toolkit. So then we did a very hard thing. We went out and we got 6 different agencies, each committing to 10 participants. We randomized them. 4 were randomized to a treatment group, 2 to an active control group, and now we're interested in looking at the first year, where we're going to present the intervention. We're going to compare the intervention against the comparison group. And in order to be sure that we maintain everyone in the comparison group, because that's a little tough if you have to wait a year, which is what's going to happen, it's a waitlist control group design, is that we're offering a job club kind of support that Dr. Andrea Schneider will be leading. And so we're excited about that. We recruited a wonderful group of participating agencies, ranging from Pride and Meristem to a group called Odyssey and Milestones of Development that's actually in the Bay Area. Futures explored here in town, and Ability Path were randomized to the control. And so far, we've been working very, very diligently to take into account what the stakeholders and the people in the focus groups told us they needed. So we did a 2-person upfront training, new and improved, with a job development practice day at the end. We have now weekly team supervision meetings where we actually meet in their supervision sessions with every one of the 4 agencies we're working with, and we coach them through by producing these modules about how to refer us clients, how to do documentation support. We've developed a very easy computer-based training. Thank you to our team members, Megan Smith and Maggie Zhang, for creating a Google Sheet and many ways that people can enter the context they make in the community. And so we've had about 8 or 9 weeks of training so far with each of the agencies. We have them evaluate. Everyone has found it helpful. And then we're recording these with the help of Patrick so that if people come and go, they can watch the trainings and, get up to speed. We also are talking about important topics like disclosure, job development, supporting clients at work, benefits consulting, etc. Respondents described our trainings as very thorough, informative, and say we have a very collaborative approach, which makes us happy. So we're really excited. We have so far enrolled 19 people in the treatment group, 11 in the waitlist control group. We're working hard on all the agencies that are lagging behind. And 2 jobs have been obtained so far, so we're very happy about that. So that's been about a month. And I wanted to close with telling you that we've also partnered in this with UC Davis Health. Who funded some of my salary and some of my team's salary as part of my package for serving as interim director for a little while. And this is really exciting because the hospital we're really trying hard with the hospital to increase the availability and quality of jobs for neurodiverse individuals here at UC Davis. So, as I said, we've partnered with them. You may have heard that Best Buddies is now on campus, and Project Search is here at UC Davis Health, and we've done some interaction with Project Search. We actually interact at different levels of, they're working with people that are a little younger for the most part than who we're working with. We've made a lot of presentations in the community, things like the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, and we've helped at UC Davis. We have a wonderful collaboration going with the medical coding area here. Tammy Gomez has actually started a program for people who are very good with numbers and computers but don't want to work outside their homes. This job, medical coding, has a lot of career potential. It's a very high-paying job. It's hard. Not everyone can do it. But we've had one person who, after listening to the focus groups about the person who went through it successfully, said it changed his life. He'd been bouncing around from McDonald's and Pizza Huts, et cetera, for the last 10 years. And now he has a career, with a lot of advancement opportunities. He can do it from home, and there's jobs all over the country. And so we've been trying really hard to advocate in the vocational system. As Mind said, I think you'll probably hear later, Steve Reuter has been an integral member of our team, and he's been working with this, he'll be telling you about his business advisory council that promotes best practices in helping people to transition on. And we are working to try to help the hospital to do a better job in making sure that anyone who's doing one of these programs has an easy pathway to employment. And finally, I just wanted to end by saying that we're doing collaboration with community and state colleges now. We've had wonderful meetings with Sac State, with Consumnes, with American River, because all of us can work together. There's a whole pool of students that are ending up, as Laura was saying, in the community college system. And the pathways for those students aren't clear and integrated, and we'd really like to help organize things better so that everyone knows about the resources that are offered, and we can work more effectively and integratedly as a team. So just thank everyone who's been helping with these efforts and other people as well, but Joanne, Megan, Maggie, Steve deserve an extra special shout out, along with DDS, DOR, UC Davis Health, the DDS Employment Grant Program, NIH, and also the Savage and the Oates Family Foundations that helped to fund this work. So thank you.
The UC Davis Mind Institute was founded in 1998 with the promise to reduce and prevent the disabilities that can be associated with autism and other neurodevelopmental conditions. Every day, our clinicians and researchers make progress on that promise. Our groundbreaking research on autism, Fragile X syndrome, chromosome 22q11.2 deletion syndrome, ADHD, and other conditions associated with disability are helping affected individuals achieve their fullest potential. Please visit our website or our social media platforms to find out more about current studies, upcoming events, and how you can help make a difference.